from home directive for management supervisory level workers. Over 200 junior college students down with suspected food poisoning. Good evening, I'm Carlos and welcome to News at 10. Well, public and private sector employees in managerial and supervisory positions in states under the Conditional Movement Control Order, CMCO, have been directed to work from home beginning Thursday. Senior Minister for Security, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said the decision was made on the advice of the Health Ministry to limit the movement of people and prevent new COVID-19 infections. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri explained that the directive to work from home depends on how long the area is placed under conditional MCO.
Difahamkan 800,000 pekerja sektor industri dari wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, Labuan, Selangor dan Sabah akan terlibat dengan keputusan yang kita buat hari ini, 800,000. Manakala yang melibatkan penjawat awam di kawasan tersebut adalah seramai hampir lebih kurang 200,000, bermakna 1 juta. Jadi kita boleh kurangkan pergerakan 1 juta pekerja, dan ini saya kira boleh membantu untuk mengurangkan jangkitan COVID-19 ini.
However, he said exceptions are given to employees who are required to work from offices, such as those in the financial sector, enforcement as well as welfare officers. As for workers living in the red zone areas, they will be required to undergo swab tests. Foreign workers in the construction sector as well as security personnel are also obliged to undergo COVID-19 testing. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri added that the Ministry of International Trade and Industry will be issuing a media statement on this directive soon. The Enhanced Movement Control Order, EMCO, will be imposed on Kampung Saguking Laut and Kampung Sebur Baru in Labuan from 21st October to 3rd November. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob also said that 8,062 residents of the two villages will be affected.
Pelaksanaan PKPD ini bagi membolehkan pergerakan keluar masuk di kawasan tersebut dapat dikawal dan juga untuk memudahkan kerja-kerja saringan yang akan dibuat oleh Kementerian Kesihatan.
Dato Sri Ismail Sabri said the villagers have been also instructed to observe home surveillance order and to wear the surveillance wristband. He said the villagers were not allowed to work during the EMCO period, adding that all social and recreational activities as well as barter trade are also not allowed. And down the figures, well, Malaysia recorded 862 new COVID-19 infections today, and from that total cases, only 2 were imported from Egypt and Indonesia. Now, Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said the country also reported 3 new COVID-19 fatalities in Sabah, bringing the death toll to 193. Well, Malaysia also discharged 634 patients, bringing the tally of cured patients to 14,351. Now, while the country's COVID-19 infection tally now stands at 22,225 with 7,681 active cases. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said Selangor has seen a drastic increase in COVID-19 cases since the end of September after the entry and return of individuals from Sabah, bringing the total to 3,489. He said the first cluster reported in Selangor was the Jalan Apas cluster on 28th September, adding that the increase in local transmissions in Selangor became evident from 2nd October and has continued to record consistent increase until today.
Pada hari ini, Selangor mencatatkan pertambahan sebanyak 132 kes daripada jumlah itu 84 kes adalah daripada kluster-kluster sedia ada, termasuk 8 kluster yang berkaitan dengan sejarah perjalanan pulang dari negeri Sabah.
He also said that the daily increase in new cases and clusters in Selangor is also due to the population density and high movement rate. A new cluster was also identified today in Kota Belud, Sabah. The Education Ministry is reviewing a proposal to place Sabahan students involved with main examinations in dormitories. Now, Senior Minister for Education, Dr. Razzie Jadin, said this following several demands from parents who want the face-to-face learning process to be conducted rather than online-based learning.
Jadi kita sedang melihat apakah option yang ada dan kita melihat apakah kaedah yang terbaik yang kita boleh laksanakan, terutamanya dalam konteks kapasiti asrama. Kapasiti asrama itu penting. Kalau kita nak laksanakan, kita perlu memastikan bahawa kita mempunyai kapasiti yang mencukupi, dan kita telah memaklumkan kepada pihak Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sabah untuk melihat perkara ini secara lebih mendalam.
Meanwhile, the senior minister also explained that the schools will be providing learning modules for students who don't have proper internet access or devices to study via online medium. To date, the Education Ministry has instructed 2,601 schools nationwide to be closed down, involving 1.67 million students due to COVID-19 infection. Well, 4 men were charged at the Slim River Magistrates Court today with obstructing a police officer from carrying out his duty near a toll plaza on Friday. However, pleas were not recorded from P. Panir Selvam, 32, as Vijandran, 41, A. Sivakumar, 28, and R. Durai Raj, 25, as they could not understand the charge read out to them in Bahasa Malaysia before Magistrate Nurul Hidayah Ismail. Well, they were accused of purposely obstructing a civil servant, Corporal Muhammad Shahrul Azwan Abdul Manaf, from carrying out his duty as a policeman. Now, they refused to cooperate after being repeatedly warned to disperse and failed to produce identity cards upon request. Now, the offence was committed by the roadside near Slim River Toll Plaza at 3:40 a.m. last Friday. They were charged under Section 186 of the Penal Code for obstructing civil servants from carrying out their duties, which carries imprisonment of up to 2 months or fine of up to 10,000 ringgit or both. Nurul Hidayah allowed 3,000 ringgit bail for each of them with one surety and set 26 October for mention, as well as to have a Tamil translator. In the same proceeding, Durai Raj was also charged with using criminal force by pushing the body and unzipping the vest of Muhammad Shahrul at the same place and time. For this offence, he was charged under Section 353 of the Penal Code for using criminal force on a public servant in the execution of his duties, which carries up to 2 years imprisonment or fine of up to 10,000 ringgit or both upon conviction. Deputy Public Prosecutor Diana Zubir prosecuted, while all the accused were represented by the National Legal Aid Foundation. Well, meanwhile, in Kajang, a 33-year-old man was sentenced to 6 months jail and a fine of 6,000 ringgit by 2 separate magistrates' courts today. Well, the accused Kang Hon Kit, who is an event manager, pleaded guilty to 2 charges made against him. Now, in the court before Magistrate Muhammad Noor Firdaus Rosli, Khan was sentenced to a month's jail for using a criminal force to deter a public servant from discharging his duties. Now, in the other court before Magistrate Shahrul Sazli Zain, Khan was ordered to a 5 months jail and 6,000 ringgit fine for driving a vehicle in a reckless manner. The court also ordered the accused driving license to be suspended for 2 years and for him to serve another 3 months jail if he fails to pay the fine. Well, previously in a video that went viral on social media, Khan was seen to be punching a fireman who was putting out a fire of a burning car. Well, a man in his 70s pleaded not guilty on 2 counts of sexually assaulting his neighbor's grandchild and blackmail. Now, the charges were read in front of Judge Elizabeth Paya Wan at the Aikro Sessions Court. And Muhammad Halil Sarun, 72, was charged in committing the assault on a 5-year-old child on 13 October. And the accused also verbally blackmailed the grand aunt of the victim on 7 October. Muhammad Halil was charged under Section 14, Subsection A of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017, which carries a jail term not exceeding 20 years and liable to whipping upon conviction, and also Section 506 of the Penal Code for the offence of blackmailing. The court granted bail of 5,000 ringgit for both charges and ordered the accused to not be in the vicinity of the victim. The court has set date for remention on 18th November. The Region 2 Marine Police Force detained 2 men suspected of smuggling contraband liquor worth 232,305 ringgit in Galang Patah, Johor Bahru. And according to its commander, Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Zailani Abdullah, the arrest of a local man and a Myanmar national was made by his personnel while they were patrolling the area. And Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Zailani in a statement said the team spotted 2 suspicious cars and stopped them at 2 separate areas. And he said 64 cartons of contraband liquor were discovered in the first car, which was inspected in Taman Nusaria. He further explained that another 87 cartons of contraband liquor were found in the second car in Medan Nusa Perintis Lapan. The case is being investigated under Section 135, Subsection 1, Subsection D of the Customs Act 1967. Well, more than 200 students at the Kuala Kelawang Mara Junior Science College near Kuala Kelawang Negeri Sembilan are believed to have come down with food poisoning after a meal. And State Education Committee Chairman Dato Dr. Muhammad Rafi Abdul Malik said 4 had to be admitted at the Jelubu Hospital for observation, but they should be discharged tomorrow.
Kita mengambil langkah tegas untuk memastikan perkara ini dapat diusahakan diselesaikan dengan menyita Dewan Selera selama 2 minggu. Lepas itu makanan tidak lagi disediakan oleh pembekal makanan sedia ada dan makanan akan dibawa masuk daripada pejabat kesihatan daerah. Untuk memastikan untuk selama 2 minggu ini makanan akan dibekalkan kepada pelajar daripada kontraktor pembekal makanan yang bertauliah.
The students had complained of nausea and diarrhea between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. today. There are 724 students at the college. He said lessons including the 74 students pursuing the International General Certificate of Secondary Education will continue as usual. Dr. Muhammad Rafi said the situation is under control as the management has taken measures to ensure the safety of the students. Well, the black-coloured and smelly water in a flood catchment pond in Sungai Langat, Selangor, was not due to effluent discharge from a factory processing recycled paper in Banting. However, Department of Environment, the DOE Director General Nordlin Jaafar said the incident was caused by overflowing grey water and sewage from a Kongsi house in August this year. Well, according to Norlin, industrial effluents from the factory which were treated in the Industrial Effluent Processing System or SPEP and the effluent samples taken by DOE on 17 October were clear and odorless. In a statement today, she said the foul smell water was due to the stagnant water, adding that the shallow pond influx of Sungai Langat river water during the high tide phenomenon and an outlet from the flood catchment pond brought black water flow to Sungai Langat. Norlin said the flood catchment pond, located about 150 meters from Sungai Langat, was built by the company that developed the Mahkota Industrial Park to receive the influx of storm water from the industrial drainage systems around the vicinity of the area. Well, she said sewage from the Kongsi house was currently being treated using 2 units of septic tanks and no wastewater was discharged into any waterways. Norlin said Selangor DOE had instructed the factory to release storm water in a large ditch to facilitate the process of diluting black water in the catchment pond. Well, Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, today has expressed his disappointment over the endless political turmoil which is causing uneasiness among the Rakyat in the country. And His Highness also expressed regret towards politicians who, as if do not care about the problems and hardship faced by the people due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the economic position of the people that had been badly affected. Now, the Selangor ruler said all politicians should be responsible for ensuring that the Rakyat's suffering remains their priority while exercising their responsibilities and duties. His Highness also said that the suffering and hardship of the Rakyat in their daily livelihoods must be immediately addressed and settled by taking drastic and effective approaches. Therefore, His Highness wishes all parties, especially politicians in the country, to work together despite their different political ideologies and remain remain focused to help solve the rakyat and the country's challenges to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as rebuilding the country's economy, which had been badly hit. Statistics Act 1965 to be amended to streamline data collection. And if you've just joined us, welcome to News at 10. Now, the government is planning to amend the Statistics Act 1965 and give the Department of Statistics Malaysia, or DOSM, a larger role in helping it formulate short and long-term policies. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato Seri Mustafa Mohamad, said the move is part of a restructuring process in which the government wants to streamline all data collection into one agency.
Kementerian dan agensi kerajaan pusat serta negeri, PBT dan syarikat milik kerajaan mempunyai penggalan data masing-masing yang berada dalam keadaan sendiri ataupun we are working in silos. Agensi atau badan-badan ini tidak diselaraskan. Metodologi, piawaian, konsep dan definisi kadang-kadang berbeza. Data pentadbiran granular ini menjadi sumber data yang penting bagi kerajaan. Ia dapat mengurangkan kebergantungan kepada data prima yang dikumpul secara banci atau survey. Secara tidak langsung, penggunaan data sekunder boleh mengurangkan kos dan penyematan bagi pengumpulan data.
Dato Sri Mustafa added that the government wanted to give DOSM a bigger role to play when it comes to data analysis and collection, and will amend the Statistics Act 1965 to give DOSM more responsibility. He said this today during his speech to launch the National and World Statistics Day celebration that was live-streamed on Facebook. He said the government will also establish a National Data Analysis Center to disseminate the data that has been collected and reduce the reliance on premium data provided by independent agencies. FGV Holdings Berhad has clarified the land lease agreement, that's LLA, between the Federal Land Development Authority, FELDA, and FGV, which is still under negotiation. In a filing with Bursa Malaysia today, it said that at present, FELDA has yet to contact FGV to negotiate on matters regarding the LLA, and under the terms of agreement, termination of the LLA is allowed. Well, it added that if FELDA wishes to purchase FGV's palm oil mills, it should be based on willing buyer, willing seller, and the current market value, which needs the approval of shareholders through an extraordinary general meeting. To date, FGV's responsibility towards FELDA, amounting to 248 million ringgit a year, has been fully met, as FGV has paid more than 2.5 billion ringgit to FELDA from 2012 to 2019. Well, previously it was reported that FELDA intends to reclaim some 350,000 hectares it has leased to FGV as a means to shore up its financial position. Well, according to FELDA Chairman Dato Sri Idris Juso, the matter has already been agreed upon by its board of directors, and the company is currently awaiting the government's directive before negotiations can begin with FGV. And that's it from us this evening. In our top story, work from home directive for management supervisory level workers in CMCO areas. Well, folks, do join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Thanks for watching, and do stay safe.